Welcome to Normanton, your mountain biking guide to Edmonton. As you can probably tell from me being in my basement and not some bike in some trail somewhere, this is a bit of a different episode. And that's because we're going to be talking about the ribbon of green. Now, we're going to talk about specifically what it actually is and what it means for people in Edmonton, as well as what it's going to change and affect people that ride in Edmonton on the trails in the River Valley, as well as what I think of it and other people think of it, and then finally what you can do to help. But like I said, the first thing we're going to talk about is what it actually is. And I'm going to be paraphrasing and simplifying some things here, so if you didn't want to read into it a bit more in depth, you can definitely check out the Edmonton Mountain Biking Association's website, which will be the top link in the description. But I'll do my best to sum it up here. So basically, the city is making changes to its ribbon of green concept plan, which comes from a good place. It's basically just to preserve and conserve the environment in Edmonton's River Valley, which I can tell you right now, not a single mountain biker is upset about. I mean, this is what we're riding through. We're riding through the bushes and the trees. We're not going to be mad that you're preserving it. But where we do get a little frustrated is that they have identified the vast majority of the River Valley as sensitive areas, which basically means that it's at more of a risk to be damaged or something like that, as far as I know. And with that comes them saying that they want to remove basically all of our current trails in those areas, as well as prevent us from building any more trails in those areas, which, as you can see, would be a bit of a problem. Now, this summer, we're going to be safe from any changes being taken into place, but it looks like next summer at the beginning, we're going to actually start seeing some changes. So we have this little bit of gap to kind of speak out and let our voices be heard. But now I'm going to talk about what would happen if everything went as planned as they wanted. So let's imagine it. Basically, 90% of the trails that you know and love in Edmonton are gone. Trails like Six Shooter or really any other trail that you might have enjoyed in the past, if it's in that dark green zone, you can say goodbye to it because it's now illegal to ride, as well as the feeling of finding a new trail. That's just never going to happen because it's now illegal to make new trails. And I can only imagine what this news would be like for organizations like the EMBA. I mean, for years now, it's been a passionate group of mountain bikers volunteering their time to build and maintain these trails while working with the city and only using money from donations of other bikers, just for the city to say, hey, you know what, actually, thanks so much, but no thanks, actually. That's hurting the environment too much. You can stop now. I mean, just seems like a total slap in the face to me. But now we'll briefly talk about what I think and other opinions of other bikers, what we kind of all think, and it would be a huge blow to the biking community. I mean, this is what we do with all of our free time on the weekends and after work, and just whenever we can, we're out riding the trails in Edmonton. So to make it all illegal would really suck. As well as not just us, but it would really suck for bike shops. I mean, think about how dramatically their sales would decrease. If you don't have trails to ride, I mean, no one's going to buy a bike. As well as not just for that kind of business, but just other small businesses in Edmonton. I was talking to my dad, and like he brought up, he comes to the city every weekend just to go mountain biking. And after mountain biking, if not one, we're going to go to two places to eat, and all that business is now gone because trails are illegal. He's not going to come to the city to ride. And, you know, just since the pandemic, the biking industry has absolutely gone insane. I mean, there's more mountain bikers in Edmonton than ever before. So I think it's totally worth to cut down a couple shrubs for just an absolute plethora of people to go out and actually enjoy the River Valley. And I think there's a line you can cross from protecting the nature in Edmonton and preventing people from actually enjoying it. And making trails illegal, I think, really crosses that line. And as a guy that knows very little about the environment, I do admit, I mean, I almost failed Bio 30. It's true, but the River Valley doesn't seem too bad of shape to me, despite it having biking trails at the moment. And, you know, that also brings up something that is a little weird with their proposed plan. In these very delicate areas, they're going to allow walking trails, but ban biking trails. So I thought I would do a little bit of an exercise here, and I'm going to show you a walking trail and then a mountain bike trail, and you can tell me which one you think would be more harmful to the environment. So here you have a mountain bike trail in the Nellie McClung Park, and then you have a walking path in Mill Creek. And then here you have a mountain bike trail in Gold Bar, and then a walking path in Gold Bar. Now, I don't know about you guys, but I kind of think that the mountain bike trails would be a little less destructive due to them being so much narrower. I mean, yeah, sure, they branch and go all over the point, but I mean, those walking paths are 10 times the length of some mountain bike trails. So if a walking path is allowed, I would argue that mountain bike trails should also be allowed. And, you know, all of this just kind of goes to highlight the city's lack of understanding of what really these trails mean to people in Edmonton. I mean, and that's not just mountain bikers. There's hikers or walkers or whatever. A ton of people are using these trails for other things than just mountain biking. These are very frequently used trails. And, the final thing I will mention is that it was also mentioned by one of the Revolution employees on this news, which there will be a link to that in the description if you did want to watch it. They talked about it on the news, but he mentioned it doesn't matter if it goes illegal, people are still going to be building trails. So what's going to happen then? There's going to be a whole bunch of people going out and building illegal trails, and there's going to be a whole bunch of conflict between groups of the city and then riders, and then it's just going to create a whole bunch of conflict. I mean, even if they do make it illegal, it's probably not going to end. So that's really all I have to say about it. Now we're going to talk about what you can do. And this is pretty easy for me to do because I'm really just going to hand you off to the EMBA website. As you can see here, the EMBA has done a fantastic job at highlighting and gathering all the information you'll ever need to speak out against the city and say, hey, we don't like what you're doing at all. So huge props to them. And not only for that, but also for pretty much all the information from this video. I mean, everything I got and said was pretty much from some article that I read on EMBA. So huge shout outs to you guys. We love what you're doing and we really appreciate you. But that is the end of the video. Thank you guys so much for watching. And if you did like the video, maybe consider subscribing because I'll tell you what, as long as there's mountain biking happening in Edmonton and trails to be rode, I'll be making videos about it. So I'll see you guys in the next video.